Hi guys, welcome back to your Kempo Dojo. In this video we're going to take a look at stances. Okay, the 4 basic stances you're going to need to be able to do your techniques. Okay, so first stance we're going to talk about is your horse stance. Okay, so step out, a little bit more than shoulder width, like 1.5 times shoulder width. Feet parallel as in they're running together in the same lines. Okay, not like this. Or like this, feet running parallel together. Knees bent, knees locked out. And that's your training stance, okay? That's where we do all the techniques from, all the hand movement, hand in isolation movements. Okay? So keep your knees bent, keep your knees locked out, keep your feet running parallel together. Okay? And again, horse stance. It's called a horse stance because it's like you're sitting on a horse. Okay? Step out, knees locked, knees bent, locked out, like you're sitting on a horse. You're trying to grip the ground with your feet. Okay? Grip the ground with your feet. And again, ready. Step out, 1.5 times shoulder width, bend your knees, lock your knees out, and then you're in a position to be able to train. Okay, next stance is your neutral stance. Okay? Your neutral stance is your only true stance. It's the exact same as a horse stance where you're looking 12 o'clock. Okay, so it's a horse stance until 10:30 where you're looking 12 o'clock. Okay, what people struggle the most with a neutral stance is the back leg position. Where are you going to put your back leg? Here it's too wide, here it's too short. So a good trick for your neutral stance is to get a pole or a sweeping brush or anything at home, lie it on the floor, make sure it's pointing towards 12 o'clock. Make sure it's pointing that way. So as you step back into your neutral stance, your back heel has to touch the pole. Touch the pole. Your front toe touches the ball. Okay? So back heel, front toe, small partition in between the two of them. You're still in your ball or your horse stance this way, but you're in a neutral stance that way. Point to 12 o'clock. Okay? Again, watch. From here, you're going to step back, back heel, front toe, bend your knees, lock them out, 12 o'clock, guard up. Okay, and on the other side, exact same, step back, 12 o'clock, feet parallel together, in a horse stance that way, we're looking there for a neutral stance. Okay, and again, you're going to step back, feet parallel, knees bent, lock them out, looking 12 o'clock, but you're on the 2:30 line with your feet. Feet are going to 2:30 line. On the other side, the 10:30 line, small gap in between your front toe and your back heel. Over here it's too wide, over here it's too short. See me standing on? Here's just right. Okay? So, that's your neutral stance. Your neutral stance is the only true stance. Only true stance. Every other stance is a transitional stance. We have training stance, only true stance. Now we're going to take a look at transitional stance. Okay? It's called a bow stance or a bow and arrow stance. So this front leg stays the same. The back leg straightens out. And we shift our weight. Our weight here is 50-50. 50% on the back leg, 50% on the front leg. Our weight's going to shift to 60%, 40%. Okay? And again, starting your neutral stance. You're going to straighten this leg out. This leg is dead straight. This leg hasn't moved. So we're going to bring power forward neutral to our bow. Okay? So if I was going to do a thrust punch, and I want to do a reverse punch, but I'm not going to employ a bow stance, look at the distance. There's a problem there, isn't there? For me to shoot this forward, I have to go into bow stance. Okay, so bow stance developed, we're getting power going forward. Okay? And we lock in everything in the last minute, last second. Okay? And on the other side, starting our neutral, lock this leg dead straight, and again, lock this leg dead straight, and there's your bow stance. Neutral stance, bow stance, front leg doesn't move. Neutral stance, bow stance. 60% of our weight, 40% of our weight. Okay, power going forward. So that's our horse stance, neutral stance, and bow stance. Last one I want to take a look at is cat stance. So again, from our neutral stance, our cat stance, another shift in weight. Whereas in our bow stance is on the front leg, and the cat stance is on the back leg. So we're going to go 90% onto our back leg, 10% on our front leg. Okay? Or even less. There's a shift all the way, look. And again. So we're going to keep this knee bent. I'm pointing in the exact same way. This is going to come back in. And here we can kick from this position. Okay? So when I'm 50-50, I can't kick. I got to pull my way back to be able to kick and back down again. Okay, so we call it cat stance. Kick and back out. On the other side, back to our neutral stance, which is our only true stance. Everything else transitional. We're going to come back to a cat. We're going to kick, and then we're back out. Okay? So we have to be able to do that if you want to kick. Okay? So, four stances. A horse stance, where we train from. A neutral stance, where we do everything from. Bow and arrow stance, transition to get power forward. Cat stance, you need to be able to kick from this position. There are other stances. So I'm just going to show you them quickly. So you got a bow. And when you want to travel with the bow, you can do something called an open knee stance. If you want to drop down gravity, you can use your open knee stance to drop down gravity. Also called closed knee stance is another version of it. Okay? So an open knee stance, which is a bow with the heel off the floor. With a bent leg rather than a straight leg. You don't need to know these, just want you to concentrate on the first four. Okay? Twist stance. When you're in this position. Front twist stance, rear twist stance. Front twist stance, rear twist stance. Okay? So, your bow and arrow stance has one other thing, it's called a rear bow. So if we're in a neutral stance, and here's a forward bow, a rear bow is when you just look over the shoulder. Okay, so watch this. Here's a neutral, and here's a rear bow. See, rear bow, but really it's also a forward bow, depending on where my target is. Okay, so watch again. Neutral stance, forward bow, rear bow. It's the exact same as a bow and arrow stance. Okay, so the four I want you to take a look at is your horse stance, feet parallel, knees locked out. Your neutral stance, don't forget about the bow or the pole we put down through here. Like a bow, like a horse stance, actually in a different o'clock, 12 o'clock. A bow and arrow stance where we're shooting power forward, 60%, 40%, and a cat stance, 90%, 10% or less. Okay? So, practice those four stances Bow here. Salutation. See you next time, guys.